we have these ways of being, and I've always, well, at least I've thought this. I've always been this way of like very like, antsy, so to speak, with certain things, and and it can lead to OCD. If it's untamed, as in like if you're low on sleep, or if you're perhaps and I mean the colloquial term, not the literal DSM definition, but like like you become, for example, when I used to drink, right? I used to go out and party a lot back in my day, and I would, and the next day, like I would be extremely like OCD, like very like just, like I'd be lackadaisical in the sense of like, oh, I don't want to do anything, but at the same time, very like neurotic, and like this needs to be a certain way, this needs to be a certain way. So it's like almost like all mental illnesses are just a exacerbation of the source problem, or the source misbalance rather than problem, right? And I wanted to let you to speak into this, but I feel like the solution, or the holy grail, or the end point is like, hey, you are who you are, but let's see if you're able to shift that in the sense of being able to be rigid when you want to be rigid, and not be rigid when you don't want to be rigid. It's like, hey, I see those imperfections, but it's like when you see someone who's saying something wrong and you're just like, oh, I want to correct them, but it's like, no. Or like when your ego gets in the way, right? Because I've had this a lot recently, and I've just been like practicing letting go, where a person that's showing off or talking themselves up, they're like, oh, this, and I'm just like, and they're saying something that contradicts what they said the week before, but I'm just like, let it go, let it go. Sometimes it's good to be just a silent person at dinner watching people, like your partner Cassie. She's just always just like, she will say a thing and then boom, out. She just watches the whole time, and unless you antagonize her to get her to come back.
We both know what happens there.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, like, and I love your thoughts on all those things I said, and it's a bit of a word salad from a rigid.
Yeah, word salad, bro. Put that salad in order. I want to see my cucumbers over here, my carrots over here.
I need to right now. Yeah, it's just like I was going to say one last thing. It's like there's this meta awareness that needs to happen, and I feel like that's the solution for most characterology types, right?
Yeah, it is. And the meta awareness comes from reducing the rigidity in the body. Ooh. So there's only enough mental bandwidth in order.
Say that one more time. The meta awareness comes from.
The awareness comes from dealing with the rigidity in the body. Because without dealing with the rigidity in the body, there's not enough mental bandwidth for you to mentally control your rigid, right? So you can know all these things, you can read all the books, you can be like, oh no, they make all the to-do lists. Oh, if I feel rigid, just stop. It's not how it works. Like your body is the impulse to be rigid is built into the cellular. That's how you perform, that's how you've survived. So it's a defense as well as a winning formula, if that makes sense. So it's a defense, so it protects you from being like humiliated or being made wrong. And it also rewards you at the same time, because at some point you'll hit that achievement goal. But the other thing for rigids, this is where I'm going to, is not being able to celebrate when they hit that achievement milestone.
Mm. You've said to me before.
Yeah, so like being able to like, oh, I hit that goal, like I've released that podcast for the first time. Like I broke up with that partner in that relationship, or I started a new relationship, or I'm getting back on the bandwagon of something. It's being able to celebrate that moment is important to interrupt that perpetual perfection machine that's built into them.